Hey, welcome to Irish Diecast. I'm Zephyr Chunk, and today I'm going to introduce you to the Bugatti Divo by Bburago in metallic red. Recently, Bburago has been doing some pretty neat Bugatti models. The Chiron Sport, Divo, and most recently the Bolide. They launched the Divo model in 2019, only a couple of months after the initial release of the actual car. The Bburago Divo was first launched only in matte gray with blue accents, and later on, this red version with black accents was added. Originally, I planned on getting the gray version because I like cars in the presentation color, but when I saw this one for sale at Bargain for $25, I thought to myself, why not? So the Bugatti Divo is the spin-off from the Chiron series, celebrating the 110th anniversary of Bugatti. In the supercar world, the Chiron and the Veyron are infamous for their heavyweight and ergo poor handling and track performance. The Divo is meant to make up on that. It's a lighter hypercar meant to perform on the track. While it shares its chassis and the same quad turbocharged W16 engine with the Chiron, it has an iconic exterior design and it became 35 kilos lighter than the Chiron. While the top speed is electronically limited to 380 kilometers per hour, which is pretty unimpressive in Bugatti's universe. But since this car is intended for track performance, it did perform better in the Nardo circuit by the time of 8 seconds. There are only 40 Bugatti Divos in the world, each with a crazy price of $5.8 million, making it the sixth most expensive vehicle in the world, sorted by their initial MSRP. Considering that you need a Bugatti Chiron to own a Divo, you practically need $8 million to own this car. The name Divo comes from Albert Divo, who won two times at the Targa Florio mountain race with the Bugatti Type 35 in 1929 and 1928. So here is the front of the model. The design is very futuristic, as if it's a concept car. It's based on the Chiron and the Bugatti Vision Gran Turismo, but you can tell that it has design elements from the Bugatti Type 57 Atlantic, Bugatti Type 41, and other Bugattis reinterpreted in a modern way. The color is really gorgeous on this car. It's a very deep red, and kind of reminds me of the Ladybug edition Bugatti Divo. It's a really attractive color. Bburago expressed the carbon accents on the hood pretty well. You can tell that this is a lower ended model by the finishing on the casting. As you can tell, the lines on the intake here, they're pretty rough, instead of being smooth. And overall, since this is a very complex casting, you can see some rough and inaccurate lines here and there. So the headlamp quality itself is not bad, and but for some reason it doesn't give me the feeling that it's cleanly done. The front grills are all blocked. They're not perforated. I'm just in a single piece of plastic, but it doesn't look that bad because they kind of emphasize the grill patterns down here, so it looks slightly better. And you can open the trunk. Nothing interesting as you might have expected. The trunk space is very small. So moving on to the side, since this car is based on the Chiron chassis, you can definitely see the similarities in the overall silhouette of the car. There are windows in the door that stops the dust from getting into the car. They did try to express the carbon fiber mirrors, but it's way too shiny. It doesn't look very realistic. One thing I like to compliment on this car is the opening parts gap. The gap between the opening parts and the body of the car. It's really small throughout the car, and I was really impressed by it. There are carbon fiber accents along the bottom of the car with the French flag over here. And the rims, they are nicely made. They are pretty nice in gray, and the brake calipers and the brake pads are also pretty well detailed. And of course, being a Bburago, this model doesn't offer working suspension. And of course, you can open the doors to see the interior. One really annoying thing with these Maisto and Bburago castings is that some of them has really small door opening angles, so you can hardly see the interior. I don't know why they do this. I don't know if it costs more to make the door opening angle wider. Some of these have really terrible door opening angles, and kind of hard to get a look inside the interior, but once you do, it has a pretty similar layout to the Bugatti Chiron. And being a cheaper model, it doesn't really capture the luxurious interior of the actual car, but they did try to express the carbon fiber trim and the little patterns on the seats. And here is the view from the passenger side. You can tell that the interior is pretty simple for a multi-million-dollar car. And there's not a single screen on the interior, which is to help reduce weight, but also because Bugatti wants their car to age well, be like timeless. So they stuck to the basics and apparently thought that big screens in the cars will look outdated someday. I kind of wish the interior was in a two-tone color, other than black maybe, because I think the monotone black interior gives it a cheaper look. And it doesn't really capture the feeling of the car. And here is the rear of the vehicle. Like many budget Bugatti models, you can't really remove the engine covers. Over here, the Divo uses the same 8-liter quad-turbocharged W16 engine, producing a 1500 horsepower and over 163 kilograms of torque. And combined with a full-time all-wheel drive, the Divo is able to accelerate from 0 to 100 in just 2.4 seconds. And there isn't really much to see for the model, but you can see the W16 badge and the 1500 badge over here. And again, carbon fiber looking plastic accents on the entire engine bay and the roof of the car. Fixed rear spoiler, also made out of carbon fiber accented plastic. The rear lamps are pretty well made, no pegs of any sort. They did a great job expressing the unique rear lamp of the car. It's a series of squares and rectangles, and in the real car, some of them light them up in orange. Some of them light up in orange and sequence when the turn signal is on, which is really cool when you look at it. I was especially impressed with the exhaust. They are pretty clean, and while they're not completely perforated, it is carved out a little, so it looks a lot better than the commonly blocked exhaust that cheaper cars used. If you're into customizing cars, I guess you can kind of paint the exhaust in black to give it a more realistic look. Nothing much to see down in the model. So that's it. Overall, I think this is a great model for its value. While it does come with some common budget model problems like the casting quality and the cheap plastic, it actually looks pretty good on the outside. It doesn't look too cheap. It has a really attractive color, so while it's far from looking upscale, I do think that it's a pretty neat model to own. And so that's it, my review on the 118 Bburago Bugatti Divo. Be sure to click like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you later.